I want to talk about the acceleration of creation. So, when we speak about manifestation, everything is a manifestation. So, you're not going to manifest A, B, C, D. You always manifest. Manifesting is how life happens. You can consciously create, which means you are aware that you're focusing on creating something. And before you do that, you unconsciously create, and you unconsciously create by your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs, aka your state of being. And your state of being in the world and the physical reality is actually the state of your nervous system. Your nervous system emits a frequency, and you can liken that to a radio station or a TV station. And if you want to change what you experience in your life, you want to change your radio station, your nervous system, your state of being, your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. And so, how quickly things happen in our world, in our personal world, depends on how relaxed you are, how confident you are, how good you feel about yourself, and thus about life. Because when you feel good about yourself, I can guarantee that you will also feel good about your life. And the better you feel about yourself and thus life, the quicker conscious creations show up. But also, the quicker not so conscious creations show up. But because you're more aware, because you're playing with how all of this stuff works, you become more and more aware. And even if you have an unconscious creation, you are pretty quickly, you can trace it back to, and what is this other word? Reverse engineer. Yes, you can reverse engineer like what brought this about pretty quickly. And I had the most interesting day of happenings that were just like mind boggling to me. And I'm thinking about sharing, the one, there's someone listening that I want to tell this person in person what actually happened. I will tell this story at another time. What I can share though is a beautiful event I went to where I met a few new people, an old person. Yes, so an old acquaintance. This is actually a nice story which happened a couple of days ago. Sidestep with whom I went to this event. So I had been thinking about her a lot, this particular person, because I somehow she just was in my awareness. And I met her a couple of years ago in New Zealand in a different city, like 5 hours away from Auckland, called Napier. And I had to think of her a lot for some reason. She moved with her girlfriend to Brazil, and I was wondering how she was doing. Also, I saw her car sometimes here in Auckland, like the type of car she used to drive when I met her back in Napier. And so I thought a couple of times, oh, I have to get in touch with her. And every time I forgot about it. And I went with another friend to have lunch somewhere couple of days ago, and all of a sudden I hear my name, and it was this girl that I had to think about. And I was so baffled and taken aback and like discombobulated and like, what? How are you here? Because I thought she was in Brazil. Turned out that they broke up and she moved not back to Napier, but now she lived in Auckland since a year. So that was pretty interesting. And that happened also pretty quickly, kind of thing. I heard something today in a lecture that I was listening to about how when things happen in our world, because we are conscious creators, that it's a good idea to thank self, to thank the inner self, because everything comes from and through us. Whatever is happening in your life, you might like it, you might not like it. You are the common denominator and the operant power of everything in your life. And obviously, you have a choice. You can choose to think, nah, I definitely did not create this, and thus say I'm a victim to my life experience, or you take full responsibility and you create everything. And not consciously, right? Some things are just like, seriously, why would I do this to myself? And it's not that you did it to yourself on purpose. It was just you didn't know how reality is created, how your life experience is created. And that's why you're listening to videos like mine, because you have an inkling of, I think that there's something to it, but I don't completely get it yet. And it also takes some time to practice, and you learn and practice, and then you have proof, and then you like F up, and they are like, what the hell? And then you just give it up altogether, but you always come back to it. And dude, all of us go through, all of us conscious creators go through this. But the most beautiful thing is, it does get easier. And the more that you are in your heart and living from your heart and taking responsibility for everything that you see, and it doesn't mean letting people off the hook for certain things. Yeah, you can still set boundaries and still say, hey, listen up, this is not so cool. Um, in the end, it is leave the mirror and change your face, as Neville says. So while you can apply what I said in here to kind of everything, because I tend to speak a lot about body and beauty recently, because it's a topic that's really close to my heart. If you don't feel comfortable in your body, then from experience, I just don't really have a nice life experience when I don't feel comfortable in my body. And same with if I don't feel beautiful, no matter how anyone else mm, speaks to me, thinks of me, like I want to feel it. I want to feel it. And so when we feel beautiful and we're happy in our bodies, we're just nicer beings to everyone around us. We make nicer choices for ourselves and for the planet. We spend more money on good things, on good quality things that are made in a way that isn't harmful for the planet or for others. So, um, yeah, I guess that's all that I wanted to say. And I got such a sweet compliment today, and I thanked my inner self for it, but it was also, it was very unexpected. And this person said to me, wow, you have such a graceful elegance about you. And I saw you sitting over there, and I thought, wow, she has so much dignity and grace. And I thought, this is an interesting compliment. I don't think I've ever heard these words in one sentence before directed at me, to me. Well, you know what I mean. So I thank the person and I thank my inner self. All of this to say, everything comes through us and from us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing good, bad, or ugly. It's all just life, lifing. See you in the next.